Not at all.
I'm a complete fan of zero drop.
You guys are switching?
Nice fat ribeye. I'm not willing to kill it. Impressive.
Want to start one? Miracles happen every day.
Fair enough. Are we ready, Madam Clerk?
Sure.
Good evening. I'm calling this regular meeting of the Stuart City Commission for the 11th of August 2025 to order. Thank you all for being patient. Roll call, please.
Mayor Rich.
Here.
Vice Mayor Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Giobbi.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here. And Commissioner Reed, welcome back. We missed you at the last meeting.
Oh, I wish I was here.
This evening, the invocation will be provided by Pastor James Hart of the Stewart's Alliance Church, and will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance afterwards, please?
Sure will.
Please rise.
Won't you join me in prayer? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, the gift of this day, the gift of life, and just health and the ability to be here. And Lord, we thank you for your presence with us, Lord. As we pray in invocation, we know that you're already here, so we welcome you, God, to this place. We ask for your guidance over this meeting. Lord, there's some things that your word tells us that you are a provider of. You give us wisdom, unity, integrity. And Lord, we pray that each of those things would be manifest here today in the decisions that are made. Proverbs 11:14 says, where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in abundance of counselors there's safety. And so, Lord, we thank you for these counselors, these leaders that you have raised up for the city of Stuart. And God, we do pray that you give them wisdom and direction and discernment. And that, Lord, they would serve us well because they are ultimately serving you. And so we thank you, God. Bless this city, bless its leaders, bless its residents, and all those that come through the streets of this city. Lord, we ask you that you would just be with them and bless them in a mighty way. We thank you for these things, and we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We only have one proclamation.
The arts moment.
Well, we have the arts moment that
I'm sorry. We have the arts moment, which is, the singing of the national anthem
Daryl McGill.
by Mr. Daryl McGill,
Lovely to hear twice.
who's performed often with our own Jim Chosky.
Yes.
Doesn't seem like that microphone's working.
Here, I'll take it.
Is it my thing making a noise?
I'm not sure. It's not bothering me, though.
Oh, you should be standing, okay. No, it's true. You stand for the,
Well, I'm going to wait till he's ready.
stand for the.
Daryl, you don't need a microphone. I don't need it. Please rise for a national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed in the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Mr. Mc-
Thank you, Darrell.
Excuse
A
me?
certificate.
Certificate in that blue folder.
Thank you, Darrell. Thank you, Darrell.
It's awesome. You got a great voice, Daryl.
Thank you.
He's done a lot in the city. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Baggett, if you could read the proclamation for National Financial Awareness Day, please.
National Financial Awareness Day Junior Achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast is August 14th, 2025. Whereas the City of Stuart recognizes the mission of Junior Achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast to inspire and prepare young people for success through transformative programs that promote financial literacy, work and career readiness, and entrepreneurship, and whereas through hands-on, volunteer-led, immersive experiences like JA Career Exploration Fairs, Junior Achievement in participating schools such as future opportunities by offering comprehensive financial literacy and delivering career readiness programs to every elementary and middle school during the 2025-2026 school year. And whereas the City of Stuart Commissioners affirm their commitment to youth education and workforce development and recognize the vital role that early financial literacy and real-world skill building play in preparing students for lifelong success. Now therefore, I, Campbell Rich, Mayor of the City of Stuart, Florida, do hereby proclaim August 14th, 2025 as National Financial Awareness Day.
And accepting this proclamation in recognition of National Financial Awareness Day is Katie Thompson, the president, I assume, of the Junior Achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast. Is that correct? Ms. Thompson, would you like to come forward and make a few remarks?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Katie Thompson, the very proud president of Junior Achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast. We are so proud to partner with Stuart and the students in Stuart to hopefully give students the skills that they need to understand all career possibilities and hopefully come right back here to the Treasure Coast after they go to college or a trade school and come back and be great citizens in this community. We're grateful for your recognition today and very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. The best of the best. Thank you. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Did she? Oh, she did talk.
Okay. We have 3 service awards this evening. I thought we had, or just 2? I thought it was just 2, okay.
It's 2, I think.
The first is recognizing 5 years of service in the Utilities and Engineering Department, Devin Payne.
Speech.
Come on up, right here. You can say some words, and the mayor's got a little card for you, I believe.
10-minute speech.
Ah, there is a card.
Yes.
It's a fabulous prize.
If you'd like to say something, you're welcome to.
He learned from Milton.
5 years is impressive, but this is more typical of the city in Stuart, and we're very lucky. But for 20 years in the Development Department, Grace Alvarado. After 20 years, you have to say something.
Long speech.
I just want to thank everyone for those 20 years. They've been ups and downs, but mainly good. And I'm happy that I've started working here. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
You.
Thank you.
That's so quiet all of a sudden.
Somehow being quiet makes the picture better.
20 more.
Okay. Comments by city commissioners. Commissioner Reed will still start with you,
All right.
despite your closer proximity.
Just temporary.
Right.
Yeah, I got a couple things. So I wanted to sum up Brightline in two things as well. And I know it's been talked about heavily. So I'll give some facts on Brightline. December 11th, 2023.
Meant to be. It was meant to be.
Yep, so there was a discussion, there was an agenda item on December 11, 2023. The city of Stuart signed an interlocal agreement that night, and the interlocal agreement was not in the agenda packet. So how would you agree to something that you never saw? But it was signed. City Manager Mike Mortel mentions this is no financial obligation on behalf of the city, but the parking garage will be the responsibility of the city per the RFP. The motion was moved by Vice Mayor McDonald at the time and seconded by Commissioner Clark. The motion passed 4-1, with the yes votes being Mayor Brunner, Vice Mayor McDonald, Commissioner Clark, and Commissioner Rich, and Commissioner Collins dissenting. Commissioner Rich, in his own words, stated, at the time, there were opportunities for us to get out if we so choose to, that he doesn't believe we are signing a blank check. Well, guess what? Assistant County Administrator George Stokes presented to the BOCC, the Board of County Commissioners, for those not familiar, the very next day, on December 12th of 2023, and said, and I quote, "I could not stand here and give you a cost on what your parking garage is going to cost. He doesn't know how big it will be." That was December 11th of 2023. Now, let's move to December 12th of 2023. This was the Board of County Commission meeting. There was an interlocal agreement between the county and the city that was executed, where the city was put on the hook for $30 million, and per the settlement agreement, Brightline and Martin County would split the station according to George Stokes. The motion was moved by Commissioner Smith and seconded by Vice Chair Hetherington, and that motion passed 5-0. Assistant County Administrator George Stokes all of a sudden put us on the hook for $30 million for the parking garage, by the way. And he mentions, according to the RFP with Brightline, that they requested 200 parking spaces. Yet the night before, when it was presented to the city of Stuart, none of this was mentioned. And then Treasure Coast Regional Planning also designed a preliminary parking garage that they designed for the maximum parking spaces, which would be 451 that would be possible on that parcel. So I figured I'd give some facts where it was presented to the city one way, and then the very next day, all of a sudden, he knew the size of the parking garage and the $30 million. And I think the public should know that. So that clarifies that, if anyone wants to fact check that and look up the meeting minutes. Let's see, I got one more thing. What I'd like to see from our commission board up here as well is to finally get the Hamilton Church project moving. I was on a Teams meeting with the state, and basically from what I understand, the scope of services needs submitted through an RFP process so that can come in front of our board. So hopefully we can get some consensus on that to finally get rid of that. I'd also like to see emails online in the city. The county has them online. I don't know how much time and effort our city clerk's office puts into fulfilling public record requests, but I believe in open government. If someone in the public has a question, call me on my cell phone. I'd be glad to clarify it. I believe in transparency. That's why I'm here. So I'd like to see emails online. I'd like to see code enforcement online. I think the public and myself up here deserve to see this information without asking staff to get simple tasks done to fulfill our obligation as public officials.
For clarification on the
Yes.
code enforcement, are you saying active code enforcement? So if somebody calls and makes a complaint about
No.
someone's yard?
So if we roll back to where we had the prior code enforcement stuff, you could see past code enforcement violations, to where if you searched off of a street, a property address, you could see all this information. It was available to the public. It was very good information. I like knowing the history of things, and that's why I appreciate you up here, Mike. Anytime we have questions, you know the history of the city. But sometimes it's hard to know details, and sometimes,
Well, that's what I'm clarifying, though. I was wondering if
Yeah.
it was something new, but it was like the past. What you want is the adjudications and stuff that happened in the past.
correct. I'd like to see that information, just like how we can search permits. Back in the day, permits were very detailed. Now they're very vague. Now we can look them up, but maybe the building department can correct me if I'm wrong. We can still look them up, but it doesn't really go into detail on what the permit was for. It's just a permit date. Sometimes I like to know this information. And then I had a speech regarding Senate Bill 180, which I would have given when I wasn't here, but I was on my yearly vacation that my family grants me access to. So I wanted to say, today, just not as an elected official of the city of Stuart, but as someone who actually has a Martin County birth certificate and who was chosen by this community to represent your voice, your needs, and your quality of life. I cannot in good faith remain silent about Senate Bill 180, a piece of legislation that represents a direct assault on home rule and the foundation of local democracy. We were not elected, we were not hired to rubber stamp decisions made in Tallahassee. We were chosen by voters to govern here in Stuart with the knowledge and insight that only comes from living among the people we serve. Senate Bill 180 tells us that our judgment does not matter, that our community's unique challenges can be totally ignored, that distant lawmakers who may have never set foot in the city of Stuart, they know better than we do and our constituents that we represent. This bill strips us of the tools we need to govern effectively. It imposes a one-size-fits-all solution to problems that are often deeply local. It silences the will of our constituents, your neighbors, your business owners, and your families, and your quality of life. And what's worse, there are elected officials proud of this bill, proud of a law that silences communities, proud of a measure that erodes the principle of self-governing municipalities. I say this clearly. There is no pride in undermining democracy. Home rule should not be a partisan issue. It isn't a partisan issue. It's a principle. It means that decisions should be made as close to the people as possible. That we here in Stuart should have the power to solve our problems, whether it's zoning, environmental issues, public safety, or community development. I urge my fellow elected officials across the state, stand up for your cities. That's who you represent, is your local cities. Stand up for the residents. Stand up for the basic right of communities to govern themselves. Let's send a clear message regarding Senate Bill 180. It's a shame on home rule, And I'd like to think the majority of us will not be silent while the local foundation of local democracy is slowly chipped away. So if you're tired of sitting in traffic on Canner and Monterey, stuck behind the consequences of unchecked growth with a billboard that clearly stated, "Let's put a pause on development," I urge you to join us in the fight. Let's truly represent the constituents who gave us the honor and privilege to stand up for what is right in the city of Stuart. Let's fight for a future where local voices still matter and where decisions about our community are made in our community. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Giobi.
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's great to see the galley filled. I like when everybody comes. It's great. Thank you. First, I have three things to address. One is Seacoast Bank, and I first want to thank Commissioner Reed for reaching out to the public for input on the redevelopment of the Seacoast property on the corner of US and Colorado Avenue. I've received many emails from constituents who've made some excellent suggestions. One suggestion I received from many residents is to preserve and repurpose the existing facade from the original 1961 structure. Not only is it an iconic example of the mid-century modern design and one of the few remaining architectural expressions of that era in downtown Stuart, especially since this year we here in the city and the county are celebrating a historical milestone. I would like to share some of these ideas with Mr. Hudson and his staff who have worked on the redesign of the Seacoast property. And thank you for all the constituents who followed Commissioner Reed's lead and sent in emails suggesting things to be done with that property. My next thing that I'd like to address is also the 1895 Church of Potsdam, Stuart. A meeting took place with Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton, Commissioner Reed, Derek Hankerson from Brian Mant's office, Lucia Brehenna, the Bureau Chief of the Florida Commerce Department, and Sahara Jackson and Graham Makrian, plus additional individuals from the Florida Department of Commerce, regarding the CBG grant for this project. Prior to any RFP going out on this project, I insist that the RFPs go out to designated contractors who are specifically licensed to work on historical buildings. I was not able to get a complete list of the authorized contractors who specialize in historic restorations, but I will provide the list to the city manager's office as soon as I can. The commissioners should have the opportunity to review and edit the scope of work on this project prior to the RFP, and to review again once the RFP has been selected. The Hamiltons have had many 3-minute sessions during public comments before the commission over the last year. I would like to add the Hamiltons to the agenda so that they might have ample time to address their issues. As always, we here on the dais will purport ourselves at the most professional levels. The issue needs to be resolved in the best way possible with certified historical building contractors as to not repeat the mistakes of the projects as made in the past. After all, like you and I, this is a constituent's property and we need to be mindful of that. Thank you. I also want to address SB 180. Over the last 10 years, many laws, not in the best interest of the public, have been overturned by both federal and state levels, ranging from election laws, healthcare, civil rights, education, to name a few. At the previous commission meeting, 2 of our commissioners felt that they were holding true to the oath they took to obey the law. In 1968, the Florida legislature amended the Florida Constitution, authorizing home rule powers for both cities and chartered counties. I am also holding true to the oath that I took last August, so to support and protect and defend the Constitution of the state of Florida, which predates SB 180 by 57 years. I'm in favor of the city of Stuart joining the growing number of counties and organizations that are going against a stance against SB 180. The partial list to date are Deltona, Valvosa County, Miami-Dade, Orange County, Manatee County, New Smyrna Beach, Sarasota County, Thousand Friends of Florida, Florida Chapter of American Planning Association, Florida League of Cities, Republican Liberty Caucus, and the Conservancy of Southwest Florida, plus many others. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Giobi, the city of Stuart also did pass a resolution, just like those other cities, and submit it to the state. Those ones that split the League of Cities, the resolution the board passed is identical to the League of Cities.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Clark.
Thank you for including the arts moment. I know that it wasn't on the agenda this time, but we'll get it back on the agenda again the next time. Thank you. I want to welcome our environmental attorney, who's, I think it's her first day today, Ms. Holmes. And I also want to thank Jody for the budget workshop that we did earlier on. I know that a lot of people are concerned whether or not anything in the city will cause their services to be either terminated or reduced, or whether they may even be paying additional for any services that they get. So with that, in that regard, I know that this was a workshop and we have until September. Did we have any of the other 2 dates, Mr. Mortel, for the next hearings on the budget?
Well, the hearings on the budget will happen in September, but during manager comments, I was going to suggest that we have the second budget workshop on the 25th of August.
Okay, all right. That was my only 2 things. I think we'll probably have time to bring this up, but since the other commissioners, I'm not against home rule. I just think that for the circumstances of what happened with the city of Stuart and the way that our zoning change occurred, that this gives us an opportunity to go back and to do things properly. But I do agree that we need to maintain home rule, and it's very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes. Along the same lines as Commissioner Giobbe, I just would like to make sure that next meeting, we have an agenda item where we can vote for or against joining that.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
Okay, not as a D&D, but
No.
where we can vote.
I don't know how it's got put on. I know that it was discussed at the last
Yeah.
staff meeting by the city attorney, but I can verify that it'll be a resolution.
Okay. I just want to make sure we have a vote so we can get moving on that. And that was all.
That's all?
That's it.
I only have a brief comment this evening. A couple of weeks ago, I forget, but I was lucky enough to be asked to do a ribbon cutting at Stuart's brand-new freestanding emergency center, which is on Canner Highway. It is run by HCA, and it's a very impressive facility, built in an amazingly short period of time. It's a new form of modular construction. It's nice to have it on that side of the tracks. I was especially impressed with, they took me into the testing room, and because of new computing power and miniaturization, the range of testing they can do on you now to diagnose what you have is dazzling. So we're very lucky that that company made that commitment to our community, and I hope none of you have to take advantage of it. But thank you. Okay, Mr. Mortel.
I too want to welcome Ruth Holmes, our new environmental attorney, to the city of Stuart. Today is her first official day as a full-time employee with us. As a city attorney, I was going to put onto the agenda for next meeting as well that she would be sworn in and take her oath of office as a formality before the city, so we will welcome her to that. I'm sure she wants to get up in front of everybody and do that, but nonetheless, she will. But thank you for coming. Also, the other thing I want to talk about was the budget workshop. And speaking with Jolie, we can set a special meeting, but he thinks it probably best to go ahead and do it for the 25th, unless you guys want to do it earlier than that. It'll give us time, and just like today, just before the meeting on the 25th, the same way.
The budget?
Yeah.
Just clarifying, let me look at my calendar.
The 25th would be better.
Yeah, as I said, rather than the 25th. Yeah, today. Like today, but for the 25th, right.
So is that at 2 p.m. also?
Well, that's your call. We
Isn't
can-
that a regular meeting too?
So that,
Yes.
That's why I'm putting it to the 25th, because that's when our meetings are already scheduled. There's a CRA meeting normally that day. I don't know, I don't know how long it is or when it starts, but we could start at 2:30, and I think the CRA normally starts at 4:30, and then the city commission's
Oh,
at
it's okay.
5:30.
CRA's at 4.
Or 4, right, so we could start
Here
at
that
2?
day.
Right,
2 it is.
okay, 2 o'clock.
Okay, I think I have a hearing that day.
The vice mayor will be showing up at Scrubs.
I'll probably be in Scrubs.
Are you good? Oh, good.
Probably will be.
It'll be a workshop, so. Let me just make sure, and that is all I have.
Wow. Very concise.
I've been working on the budget, I don't know what's going on.
Move approval of the agenda.
Mayor Rich, may I?
Yes?
As far as the approval of agenda, I'd like to pull Resolution 07-2025. It is...
You're talking about the consent calendar or the agenda?
From the consent calendar. Is that on the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait then.
Okay.
Are you seconding
Approval of
the
agenda.
Yeah, I'll second it
So
then.
we have a motion by Commissioner Clark and a second by Commissioner Reed for approval of the agenda. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Comments, are there any comments from the public, Madam Clerk, on non-agenda related items?
Yes, I have Robin Cartwright.
Good evening, Ms. Cartwright.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. There was a post yesterday on social media by someone about the city manager, and I'd like to address a couple of comments made in that post because my name was specifically mentioned. As you'll recall, there was a breach of supposedly confidential settlement talks around the Canner CPUD where Costco is. And it has been long suspected as to who it was that leaked that confidential information to everybody's favorite friend and neighbor who shared it publicly, possibly derailing any meaningful settlement talks to mitigate the environmental impact of the Canner CPUD. I was assured by Mr. Nicoletti, acting as city attorney, that this breach would be taken seriously and the culprit would not only be rooted out but disclosed. But I guess that's just attorney speak for basically, yeah, nothing's going to happen. What I find most interesting is that Mr. Mortel stated in an email to Ike Crumpler, who worked simultaneously for the city as a speechwriter while he worked for the Costco developer, quote, "As a brief explanation, it has always been my opinion that they didn't care about the land use and were using this as a political platform to attack candidates. The city manager casting dispersions on any of my motives is an insult." And let's be clear, this wasn't the first time that my motivations were questioned. By making this and other statements which were shared selectively with certain commissioners and supposed news outlets, my integrity was consistently called into question. This manipulation was and is completely strategic, and I get it, the city had a case to win, but it was done at the expense of me, my motives, my reputation, and my job. But let's take me out of the equation, and here are the ramifications of these kinds of comments made by somebody in a leadership position. It has become virtually impossible for any public member to be taken at face value that their motivations are pure and intentional. People have grown frustrated with the process, and meaningful conversations about things like ethical reform stop at his desk. I'll remind you that I, along with another resident who is also an attorney, met with Mr. Mortel about the opportunity to create a committee for people to navigate concerns with the commission. It was supposed to be presented to you as an agenda item, and it never was. This is just one example proving what you are presented with are suggestions guiding you on how to handle something versus there being honest dialogue. You only know what staff wants you to know, and what staff shares, at least publicly, is often incomplete and with a goal to get you to vote a certain way. The public is limited to 3 minutes compared to unrestricted time allotments for presentations and dialogue from developers and their experts, even experts who basically fudge their qualifications. I've said it before and I'll say it again, there needs to be change at the city and at the county beyond those who sit as elected officials on the dais. And the only way to change who is on staff is to change who sits as a commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
I have no further public comment.
Okay. Moving on to the consent calendar. Commissioner Reed?
Yeah, and I don't know if I should do this at my commission comment, but I'm going to say it now. On the consent calendar where it says it on the agenda, is there any way to put the word approval right before there? So it's clear and concise, like, so when we look at approval of agenda, then we know, but it just says consent calendar. I think if the word approval was prior to that, it would be easy, just an easy change, just a suggestion.
Sure, but you're saying like where it says approval of agenda, you want it to say approval of consent calendar?
Yeah, that's simple enough,
It's
right?
in our
Consent
code,
calendar.
it's listed out, the categories are in our code, so we'll
But he can
probably
change
need to
it.
update. Okay.
Yeah.
It would have
I mean,
to
it's
be a vote.
it's
And then,
misleading sometimes, yeah.
yes, I'd like to pull from the consent calendar Number 4, it's Resolution 07-2025.
Would you like to make a motion first?
Yeah, sure, a motion to pull Resolution 07-2025,
Which item number is that?
number 4 on the consent calendar. It's regarding Project Lift.
Okay, so you're making a motion to approve the consent calendar, polling item 4.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else?
You're pulling anything else?
That's all I see.
It's a long consent calendar, is what I'm asking.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Reed. We have a second by the Vice Mayor for approval of the consent calendar, polling item 4. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Giobbi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Rich?
Yes. Okay, motion approved. So, Mr. Baggett, will you read item 4 for our consideration, please?
Resolution number 07-2025, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, approving the award of invitation to bid number 2025-102, City of Stuart's Project Lift vocational project to Proctor Construction Company, LLC of Vero Beach, Florida, the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder, with a total unit price of $6,474,356.85, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you.
My turn?
Well, if we have a motion
Yep.
and a second.
So I'd like to make a motion for approval of Resolution 07-2025 under the stipulation that Guardian or Patriot Response Group is not a part of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. Hold on.
That won't.
Before we do that, that would violate the law.
RFP, we went out for
So
RFP.
the whole thing is over.
Yeah, they-
Guardian is a
Guardian.
program through the
Guardian.
CDBG group, and we can't undo that. And if
I
we did,
understand.
so it would be over.
Yeah, so just,
And I also don't think in an RFP process, you can exclude any bidders unless they have been banned by some felony or something as to a bidding list, because you're actually manipulating the RFP. But I would defer to the city attorney. if you
Yeah,
want to ask him.
I personally can't stand up here and vote. Like, I understand, Zacchio, I get the project, but as far as this contractor, I respect you guys, I've seen the work you've done, but if Guardian is overseeing it,
that's not what they do.
I'm sorry.
I
We have a
actually,
motion, do we have a second?
I don't know how we would achieve that, Mike,
you can
but-
just vote no and send the money back.
Well, he could reword the motion.
He can't exclude Guardian. Guardian is the manager of the CDBG grant, no matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah, there's no
Went out for
ifs,
RFP
ands, or
when we
buts.
Applied for the
Yeah.
grant.
That's already
and they were
I
happened.
don't
awarded.
support Guardian getting any taxpayer money.
What steps would the commission?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
He's made a motion. Is there a second?
Is there any clarification, Lee, on how to settle this to where Guardian is not overseeing this project? They've failed multiple in the city of Stuart.
Before we say that Guardian has failed multiple in the city of Stuart, I know that you've met with the Hamiltons on many occasions, but I also went through that structural engineer and other stuff, and I actually have to tell you that Guardian has been the only one that has been helping the city and pointing out to the CDBG that things that have been done, like the tearing out of air conditioning and stuff
No,
like
I
that,
understand
weren't
that,
within
Mike,
it.
but as far as the
But
craftsmanship of that,
Guardian didn't do
that
it.
work, I understand that, but they oversaw it.
They don't.
They were the project manager, correct?
They were the
Well, I
project
mean, yes,
manager,
but-
but the
Excuse
issue
me,
was
Mr.
Patriot, and Patriot is not going to be on this job.
I understand that, but if they failed in that sense by letting that work and
Okay,
craftsmanship.
we can't have a discuss. Do we have a second for Commissioner Reed's motion?
But he can seek clarification.
Yeah, he's
around it.
seeking it from the attorney as to
He
how to
can,
word
as
the
soon
motion.
as we have, there's no reason to have a discussion about the particulars if there's no second. Is there a second to his motion?
Point of order, can I ask the attorney?
What is your point of order?
Right, I just want to ask the attorney since we're in the middle of a vote. Okay?
No, we're not in the middle of a vote because we don't have a second.
Okay, then can I ask the attorney a question?
With,
Without having a second.
Clarification.
Right, without having a second, can I ask?
does it relate to this particular item?
It is pertaining to.
Okay, then no. If you want to second the motion, you can ask any question you want.
Could the city clerk please read how the motion is currently, how it reads?
Motion to approve without Guardian or Patriot Group not being a part of the resolution.
How would I,
Yeah,
Lee,
but-
can you give me some advice?
Right, I mean, that's the point. We're being told by the CBG project
I'd like to see the
person and
project
city
move forward, but
Yes.
not with those.
I'll second it for purposes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
You can withdraw
Okay.
your motion if you so.
We have a motion by Commissioner Reed. Is it clear, Commissioner Giobi, what the motion is, just to be?
Yes.
And we have a second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any public comment on this item? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello again, Ms. Cartwright.
I, like Commissioner Reed, want to be very clear that I am a big fan of Project Lift, and the work that they do with community members to learn a skill while it's partnered with their social and emotional wellness is amazing. And what they do is absolutely critical, especially for some of the members of our community who would not get any job assistance or social or mental health otherwise. But about the CDBG grant and money having to go through Guardian, it is not stated at all in any of the documents that were provided as part of the agenda that I could find that Guardian was actually a part of this project. So thank you for clarifying that they are. But like Commissioner Reed, I have concerns about how much taxpayer money is basically going to a company that is basically a pass-through of all financial funds that is our tax dollars being spent to somebody who did a very poor job overseeing the Hamilton's Church. Even if Patriot Response Group was responsible for the inputting of the windows, it is absolutely Guardian's responsibility, along with city staff, to make sure that what was done correctly, and it was not done correctly. So whether it's a historic building should have been approved, or regardless of what you think of the Hamiltons, the church's project was clearly mismanaged on every level, especially and including Guardian. And while we can allocate how grant money is spent, it's too bad that we can't take the money that is intended for Guardian and use it where it's better intended to help the residents of our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the maker
Can
of the
I-
motion, Commissioner Reed?
Yeah,
You may go.
Okay, so Lee, I should have brought my manila folder with me, but I believe they can be removed from this.
If I can
I have a
just-
manila folder in
if I
my
can
truck,
ju-
I'd be glad to
If I
get
can
it.
chime in and just provide some background on what happened, so everyone's brought up to history. When we applied for the CDBG grant programs, we went out to an RFP on who would be the manager for the CDBG grant programs, and Guardian was selected.
Right.
So under a request for proposals, that happened. Now, if in fact you could demonstrate that Guardian breached their contract, you could terminate that contract with Guardian. But if you're talking about basing it on something that happened that you've been aware of since last September and waiting until the night of us awarding the Project Lift to claim the breach, we can't do that. We will have to claim the breach, schedule the agenda, decide whether or not it's a breach, have somebody independently review it to see if it's a breach, and then go down the path of the breach. September 1st is the deadline, so we will be out of time. That's fine.
I also want to mention that Guardian is only going to be involved doing administration part with this grant, with this project. We have Kinley Horn that's going to be overseeing the construction of the project. So they are not going to be on site doing any monitoring of
Now,
construction.
how much taxpayer money is Guardian going to benefit from this project?
So this is going to come from the CDBG
And how much is
grant.
that?
When they applied for the grant, they were the lowest bidding. They're going to get $220,000
No way.
to administer the grant, which they've been helping us
So is
since
this-
2021 till now.
I understand. So is this something where I should amend my motion, Lee, then, to where we table this agenda item?
Won't matter.
No?
September 1st is the deadline.
Yeah, but we have a meeting on 25th.
I have to get started on construction because we have a deadline with Florida Commerce. And Florida Commerce has told us that they're going to be more involved with this project because they want to have
Who's gonna be
monthly
more involved?
Florida Commerce.
CDBG
So,
group.
yeah. they want to have like monthly meeting with staff and Guardian and whoever is constructing the project. So there's going to be a lot more involvement from Florida Commerce.
And I can tell you that Florida Commerce is much more familiar with the historic church case than everybody here is, because we haven't done a full presentation.
I understand.
Florida Commerce is also aware of Guardian, but does not feel as strongly as you do about Guardian themselves, because they've been involved in much deeper conversations with all of the contractors and know the whole story, and including that from the Hamiltons. I'm not trying to
I
discredit the
understand, I'm not
Hamiltons at
trying
all.
to get into the weeds of it, but
But if Florida Commerce thought that Guardian was doing something wrong, Florida Commerce wouldn't have given us the extra $4 to $6 million that they've given us since this issue has arisen, but instead they have, in reviewing it, literally tripled the amount of the grant during this process.
I can't sit here in good faith knowing that they're going to benefit off of taxpayer money with that work that they did. It's totally deplorable. I suggest everybody in this room to go check it out, because whether it's taxpayer money or it's coming out of my pocket or your pocket or anyone's pocket in this room, you wouldn't pay for that work. No way. And I can't sit up here and support that at all. So I don't know your opinion, Lee, on it as well, but
Guardian's opinion was that they shouldn't pay for the work and that we shouldn't have paid the lien.
why don't they do it as an IOU then? Why
I
don't
know,
you-
but
yeah.
Guardian's opinion was that, first, they answered to the request of the Hamiltons to do the change order for the windows, and there was the Hamiltons' request to do the change order for the roof. Guardian was the one that was saying they shouldn't pay for the air conditioning, it
Regardless of
shouldn't pay
that,
for the
Mike,
changes
the
that happened in the
workmanship
trusses.
itself,
Well, when you say the workmanship itself,
workmanship,
if you,
quality.
I know, but before you go on, what happened was, when Patriot went in and the ceilings and walls had been cut out, they were concerned, and they said, we can't move forward until a structural engineer reviews this.
I totally
And
get it,
then
Mike, I do.
the Hamiltons kicked them off the job, and they were never allowed back. They weren't able to finish the job. If I hired you and you were halfway finished installing a window, and then told you you couldn't come back to my house, and then took
You never had
pictures,
the opportunity to fix it. I get
and then I
that,
took
Mike.
pictures of the
totally
window and
get it.
said, this is the job you did.
Yeah.
I can't blame Guardian, because Guardian was waiting to make sure everything was finished, and then literally the job was stopped, and Guardian is the one that's made sure the windows are replaced right, made sure the bid's being done right, made sure it's being followed. They're actually the ones that have been walking through and pointing out what needs to be done. We can get into the debate about Patriot at some point in the future too, but part of the problem is that the rest of the board doesn't have the benefit of whatever conversations you've had with the
Even if
Hamiltons.
it's not conversations, I mean, I've seen the pictures.
But if they're half finished, that's the thing, that's not the finished work.
These guys are real contractors over here. I suggest you go visit it and you give me your opinion.
Well, I mean, I get it, if you feel that way, I would recommend to just vote no.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do then. It's nothing against you, Zacchio, or Project Lift, but that's deplorable and they shouldn't benefit off of taxpayers once again. I'm sorry.
And I just want to remind the
Not
board that
appropriate, it's
Hold on.
not okay.
I have a question, okay.
Commissioner Reed, are you,
I'm finished, but that's all I have to say.
okay, Commissioner Giobi?
Okay, what steps we would need to take, and obviously we couldn't for this project, to remove Guardian and Patriot from these RFPs? You're saying that we are locked into it, but it came under an initial RFP. Could we do another RFP so that we could look for a different person to oversee these
Well,
projects?
we went out to RFP on Project Lift, and we've already awarded it to a different contractor that's not Patriot. So that's already
Okay, so
happened.
Patriot's out of the picture, but
Right.
Guardian is overseeing.
The
this-
CDBG grant,
Right.
that already happened
under
too.
a separate RFP.
Right.
But that
Again,
happened
going
months ago,
forward,
years
it's
ago.
not going to be the only CBG grant we ever get. Going forward, what can we do to remove Guardian
Well,
from this position?
Number one, you'd have to demonstrate they've done something wrong.
Brad,
You can't have somebody on a no,
You can't just put them on a no bid list because you don't like them.
For their
We
For
could do
their
it based on
work. I mean,
RFQ.
Technically, they've got.
They definitely breached that contract. I have it in
That's
my
not
phone.
true. Guardian has not, that's all out of
No, I
context. That
think
is
you
not
need to
true.
be careful about assertions about the conduct of a business.
Mayor Rich, please don't tell me that. You accused someone of, what did they do, threaten someone? So, thank you.
Just to be clear, Commissioner Joby, there's a separate contract with Guardian. The contract here today is with Proctor. And so this is an invitation to bid that we had gone out, and that's what this contract is about. There was a similar contract that went out for bid, and Guardian was the prevailing bidder. I don't remember, it was, I think
It's 2021?
Yeah, it predated me, so there's a contract in place that they are to administer all of the CBD grant
Right,
money.
and
we
that
have.
can never change.
Well, it could change if they did something wrong or breached that contract along the way. But Florida Commerce has never accused them of doing anything wrong, neither has the city. I don't think the Guardian's done anything wrong.
I don't have anything,
As far as Patriot, they were awarded grant for rehabbing other homes, but we removed them from those projects. So we can remove Patriot.
And how much oversee do we have over Guardian? The city, our departments, or,
Well, if in fact something was finished and Guardian said it was finished and our building official went there and said it doesn't meet code, he could fail the final inspection or fail the inspections along the way. The circumstances of this situation are significantly different because Guardian's job is to kind of tell the Florida Commerce how much this should cost or how much that should cost or what's the reasonable expectation of, you know, when you have to replace this window, if you pull out the window and the framing is all rotten out, is that something that should be done? But does that mean you have to replace the floor too? Or is it just the window framing? And so it's a relationship that I can't possibly go in and say that I have a license to know whether the board was the right texture or whatever it was that was used, but we do have people that do those inspections.
Right.
And Guardian wasn't determined to have done anything wrong. The issue with Patriot is more complicated, but they were removed from the job, so
and
it
they're
never got
obviously
to
moved
them.
from other jobs, and
Right.
that's fine, we're happy about that. But I still think that we should have some major, more oversight over Guardian if they're going to be the main or only contractor, overseer of the contractors for these CBG grants. It is a lot of taxpayer money. It's our money. And I think that we have the right to oversee. If we're a little not happy with how maybe Guardian performs, maybe we have a little more oversight over that.
Realistically, when we go, let's say when we built, the Station 3 of we didn't use the CDBG grant money. We went out to RFP and we hired a contractor directly and we worked with that contractor and it happened to work out. In this case, the CDBG grant went out to RFP, 3 contractors responded. The Hamiltons negotiated with all 3 contractors.
Right now, we're really
And
not
just-
talking about the
let me finish
Hamiltons.
explaining
I'm
it.
talking about Guardian.
They picked Patriot. We didn't pick Patriot. They did. And then it didn't work out with Patriot, and Guardian was who had Patriot removed from the job and went in and took over and stopped it from going in that direction. Guardian didn't put Patriot on the job. Guardian didn't tell Patriot to do anything or do anything like that. They actually were the ones that took Patriot off the job and put it in the direction to go the other way. We have direct relationship with the contractor of Proctor Construction Company LLC of Vero Beach because you're awarding the contract directly to them.
Right.
We have direct line of sight with Proctor that we have.
So that's the oversight I'm looking for, then you have oversight over.
So we have that directly with the contractor that's being bid for the job. You also have Project Lift that is in the construction business that has built a building identical to this building already, so they know exactly what they're looking for. And I'll guarantee you, Mr. Zacchia will be there every day.
Plus,
Correct, but
Plus-
they're benefiting off taxpayers' Guardian, once again. And listen, I understand Proctor, I respect you, Zacchio, as well. You guys are not going to let the project fail, but they're going to walk away with almost $250,000.
But we don't have the ability to change them out at this point. At some point, what I'm asking, and you're saying we'd have to have grounds and reason, that we could remove them as the project person for the CDBG
And right now,
grant.
why would you? And right now, Commissioner Reed, why do you think they should be
If you have an
removed?
hour or two, I'll go to my truck and go through my manila
do.
folder with the
We
contract.
can meet after the meeting, I'd be happy to, because I'd like to have that.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Sometimes you're in difficult positions where it seems like both ways, can be.
It's just not right.
Right, it's
That's
not
the
right.
problem.
And
It's not
I don't-
right.
With
We allow the
no
Vice Mayor
oversight-
to conclude his remarks, please.
I don't disagree with you, Commissioner Reed. It's a tragedy what's happened to that church.
I'm not even talking about the church, though, just in general.
Under the eye of who was watching. But at this point with this particular project, today, right now, I would hate for this to lose out on this because of past sins. This is a huge opportunity for the city, for Project Lift, and I can totally appreciate not wanting to give Guardian another penny, but that's a boat we're in right now. If this is going to go forward, it's going to be with Guardian, and if maybe as part of an agenda item with the Hamiltons, we start looking at if there is some kind of case against Guardian and having them be on some
Right,
kind
then
of...
we move to remove them.
That's business for tomorrow, but today, I just would hate to see us missing out on this opportunity. So for me, I'm going to withdraw my second for this motion, because my hope is
I understand.
we've had discussion on this, we've had our questions answered, but I really don't even want to vote on this.
Are you more
Negative.
comfortable with more oversight from the city over Guardian?
What?
I know, it's about them.
I mean, I'm going to
gaining-
be...
I'm sorry, can I just get clarification on?
I guess the Vice Mayor's withdrew his second, so we need to look if there's another second.
So we're after the second, okay?
If there's no other second, then the...
Is there a second for this motion? Seeing none, no action is taken.
But
Can I make since, is it?
Oh, we have.
That was withdrawn, that was taken out of the consent calendar. I move that we approve resolution number 072025.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Clark, a second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any public comment on this item? Ms. McBride?
Question. The Guardian, were they over my project?
Yes.
I will just say, and I said it here before, they were wonderful. I kind of get a little upset when things don't go my way. I call, and that afternoon, Guardian was right there to clarify and make sure it was done properly. To begin with, I picked out the contractor I wanted. They picked out the contractor they wanted. I was very fortunate because I didn't even know Mr. DeSantis, but I did pick up the right contract. But I will tell you, Guardian was, the young lady, even the gentleman himself, I make a call and I say, I was nervous about what they were doing. Guardian was right there, all the way through my project. He gave me a card, she gave me a card. I mean, I can understand that church, but they picked out their own contractor. Maybe they weren't home like I was watching everything they did, but I was there. Guardian, I mean, I can stand here and say they did a fantastic job backing me up when I thought they were doing something wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Any other? Madam Clerk? No. Any comments or questions from the commission? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Giobi?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
No.
Mayor Rich?
Yes. Motion passes. Commission action.
Thank you, Project Lift.
Mr. Baggett, will you read item 12 for our consideration, please?
Resolution number 63-2025, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, authorizing the execution of amendments to leases between the city and various tenants at 301 Southeast Ocean Boulevard, to include the allowance for the termination of leases in the year 2028, further authorizing city staff to relocate in accordance with prior commission action, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Mr. Mortel, I'm pretty sure you're going to take this.
This would be the balance, and it's I'm starting over. When we originally had the agenda item, it was for the 2 leases at Wells Fargo. The Vice Mayor asked to bring it back and include the leases. The Cancer Center has still not signed their lease yet, so I did not include it, but I did include the Bowman lease. The thing about it is, just for technicality purposes, the Bowman lease expires this November, and they were looking for an extension to November of '28. The cancer clinic was the one that we were getting to shorten their lease. It remains my opinion that if they're not going to shorten their lease, it doesn't matter. It still benefits the city to go forward to the 28th. But I just wanted to fully disclose that if they didn't sign it, that, you know, the commission may say, well, then I want the city to leave City Hall and go to take over the Bowman 4th floor of Wells right away. But I don't think that'd be the best interest of the city, because it would leave one department in City Hall and then have the clerk, city manager, and city attorney not at City Hall, and we'd be giving up the revenue. So to me, it's to your best interest to go forward. I've attached the lease amendment to the agenda item, and like I pointed out, it's really 1 page. The only real change in the lease is that it's until February of '28.
Thank you, Mike.
Do we have a motion?
For resolution number 63, 2025,
Okay,
I move that we approve this.
Second.
so we have a motion by Commissioner Clark, and a second by the Vice Mayor. Are there any public comments on this item?
I have no.
Seeing none?
I have a question.
As the maker of the motion, Commissioner Clark?
There's a question.
I know, but you get to
Yeah,
go
you're
first.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have any oh.
That's okay. You don't
My
have to.
question is, what is Commissioner Reese's question?
All right, my
Not an
question,
obligation.
my question is to you, Lee and Mike. I noticed that they can terminate the lease agreement anytime after January 1st of '27. Should that be in there, or should we just run it to February of '28?
Well,
was the thought on
we
that?
discussed this last meeting. I'm sorry, but you weren't here, but with
Sorry.
the issue before that is that they're literally right now, they were looking to get out. Then I said I could give them the extension. They're just going to be trying to find a place to go, and if they sign a lease.
period.
Right, and so what we figured is, well, this is kind of bonus for us, and it's a gap that we're filling anyway. So yeah, we could hold them to it, but they might not
And they might
agree
not
to the
even sign.
28, right?
Okay, that
So
makes
that's the-
sense to me.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Any other questions? or-
No, I'm good.
Public,
Seeing none, roll call, please.
public.
No, we
And-
already did public.
There was no public comment.
Commissioner Giobe?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Mayor Rich?
Yes. Motion is approved. Mr. Baggett, could you please read item 13 for our consideration, please?
Sure. Ordinance number 2543-2025, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, rescinding City of Stuart Ordinance number 2539-2025 pursuant to Section 28 of Florida Senate Bill 180, which was adopted and effective as of July 1st, 2025, providing for conflict, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes. And this is my agenda item.
I would hope so.
I want to remind the board that this is the second reading. We had first reading last meeting. So we will be looking for final action today. As a recap, as you recall, the City Commission initiated a moratorium in our zoning in progress last September. It's when it initiated. We did a 3-month initial and then a 3-month extension, a total of 6 months of a moratorium. During that time, the City Commission had held numerous meetings, public meetings, workshops, and which resulted in several amendments to our Land Development Code via Ordinance 2539, 2025, which is the ordinance up for rescission today. Many of these amendments can be argued that are more restrictive or burdensome on applicants and for development within the city. I think it's definitely arguable by an attorney. Senate Bill 180 went into effect on July 1st. And obviously, Section 28 of Senate Bill 180 prohibits the city from adopting amendments to the Land Development Code, which are more restrictive or burdensome, through June 30th, 2028. They even made the law retroactive to go back to August before our moratorium started, by about a month. The state law that went into effect on July 1st also makes our zoning in progress and moratorium and the subsequent ordinance null and void. And so I've put together this ordinance to rescind. If the city does not rescind Ordinance 2539, there's going to be a consequence. I see under the law, any resident or residents or any business owner in the city have the option of suing the city for declaratory or injunctive relief. Declaratory relief is to declare that we violated the law, and an injunctive relief is to prevent us from doing something. Under the law, there's a clause about a 14-day notice. So whether or not they're entitled to attorney's fees and costs, I think the law was poorly written on the attorney's fees, but if a resident or business owner does provide us with notice of their intent to move forward and challenging our ordinance, we have 14 days to notice that we are going to take action to repeal it. And if we do such notice, then we'll have another 14 days thereafter in which to take action into repeal. I have already received notice from 2 residents / business owners in the city, and I received them. I guess one's probably arguable. He's arguing he sent it to me a week ago, but I didn't get it, and it looks like he sent it to the wrong email, but I definitely got both of them today. So it's my opinion that our notice of intent to repeal is clearly in this ordinance, that we're seeking to rescind. And as I said last week, rescission / repeal are the same. They're synonymous. I chose rescind because we did that with Brightline, and I thought that was a term that you guys would be familiar with, but repeal is the same way. It acts the same way. So it's my opinion that we're put on notice today. We've got 14 days from today to take this action to repeal / rescind Ordinance 2539. Otherwise, we could have multiple lawsuits. It doesn't give a cap of how many lawsuits there are. So it's arguable that multiple people can sue the city. If we rescind this Ordinance 2539, I know there's talk about joining a lawsuit. We talked about it last time, and I know we've all gotten emails about joining a lawsuit challenging Senate Bill 180. And by rescinding our Ordinance 2539 would have no bearing on whether or not we do join that lawsuit. So I think it's my opinion that we should go forward with rescinding Ordinance 2539 because we do have people already challenging it and threatening to sue us. There's, if a court finds that our Land Development Code amendments are more restrictive or more burdensome, it's an easy case to make. From the other side, it would be very difficult to defend that, whether it's myself or we end up getting outside counsel to defend the city on such lawsuits. I've had conversations with the lawyers that are proposing to do the lawsuit, and there is no, in my discussions with them, there's no harm to joining the case from them or myself if we rescind this ordinance. It actually, in my opinion, looks better because we have facts that we're being harmed by Senate Bill 180, because we went through months of making these changes, and we're actually having to go through the process of rescinding the law. And I think makes us have better facts. You know, there might be other cities or counties that might join this lawsuit. They haven't done anything yet. So it's more of a what if, but with us, it has clearly been impacted. And also by rescinding the law now, we avoid having to pay out any attorney's fees. If the case that's been proposed goes forward, and understand that there's no guarantee the case will go forward, because in my discussions with the council, they're looking to have 10 entities, municipalities or counties to go forward, and there's no guarantee that they will get 10, but that seems to be their minimum number they need to go forward with it. If they do go forward with it, and we have rescinded this ordinance and they prevail, whether we're a party to it or not, we can always then readopt our land development code changes that we've gone through. We've already had the workshops, we already had the ordinance drafted. We can just do first and second reading and readopt them. So that's why it's in my opinion that we should rescind, and we can always readopt just to avoid these lawsuits that are clearly going to be coming.
Mr. Vice Mayor, do you have any questions of Mr. Baggett?
No, I just wanted to make comments.
Okay, so are there any questions of Mr. Baggett? If
No,
not,
he answered my question, which was, if we were to rescind, then would we have to go back to the drawing board? And so I certainly don't want to do that, and I don't think anybody else does either. So you're saying it would just be a motion to bring back what we had done during ZIP?
It'd be an ordinance, you'd have to
Instruct us.
Right.
And we'd have to do first and second reading. I'd say it's arguable we wouldn't have to go back to the advisory boards, but technically the law says we probably would have to go back to the advisory boards.
You
But
wouldn't have to do the whole zoning in progress and all the workshops, but you would have to follow the due process of the advisory boards.
we would have first reading, just like we did in this last meeting, and then second reading. Because this is an ordinance rescinding, so it's the same process. It's an ordinance. But we've already gone through, and I don't even have to, we don't have to draft changes to the ordinance. It's already drafted, and we've done it. So we would just need direction from the commission to readopt it, and we would have to go through the process of doing first and second reading.
But if it's more restrictive,
I'm saying hypothetically, if the case prevails,
gotcha, okay.
and it's unconstitutional, the law,
Yeah.
then we can just go back and readopt it. In the meantime, we're deflecting any lawsuits that we're going to get sued with.
okay, do we have a motion?
I have one more question
Okay.
for the city attorney.
Commissioner Giobi?
So you're saying if it goes forward and the Florida state says, okay, it's unconstitutional, what if they amend the SB 180? They take out that last bit of language, the last 58 pages, which is really the one taking away home rule. Would we still be in the same position to be able to just adopt the ordinances again?
When you say the last section, you talk about the entire section 28? When you say what are you saying hypothetically is
SB
removed?
180, I mean, for the most part, it's a pretty good emergency bill. It was the last sections that were added which are restrictive to the home rule.
Well, section 28 is what is at issue now, and it says that each county listed in the federal disaster declaration for hurricanes Debbie, Helene, and Milton, and each municipality within those counties may not propose or adopt a moratorium. So that's, which is what we fell under, at least Milton that I'm aware of. So it says that.
And that could go into forever, because there isn't a time I can remember that one part of Martin County wasn't under the disaster of a hurricane. So, again, my question is, if they...
That part that you're concerned about, because there's additional parts that say if they're after within if they fall within a year, they're also barred from within a year. But this initial date is through the 2028. If they say that whole section 28 is unconstitutional, then we just readopt our 2539, which is the zoning in progress stuff. Like Mr. Moore-Patel said, we don't have to go through all the workshops, and we don't have to do a moratorium because we've already identified the laws that we changed. And so we just go forward with a first and second reading of those changes, just like we already have. But actually, we went to more than first and second reading with our zoning in progress, but I think we had 4 readings. But we would just have to go through 1 and 2 readings.
How long could this litigation last, potentially?
So I understand that it has to go to a trial court.
With Weiss and Sirota and the state.
My understanding and my speaking to them, they want to start as early as September.
But how long could
they would file a lawsuit.
How long could it technically last?
Something like that would be expedited. So it's not going to be a jury trial. It's going to be like a hearing.
Is it possible that it could last for more than a year?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but
Is it possible?
Well, it could go to the Supreme Court, like the initial ruling's going to come out.
But it could be appealed and this whole process?
well, it's going to go to an appeal. There's no way a trial judge is going to make, but it has to go to a trial judge first.
So hypothetically, if the composition of this commission was different, and two of us have been very against the zoning in progress, if there was a different composition up here, and we rescinded our zoning in progress, you may not have a commission that was favorable to reinstitute it.
Right, in the next, you're right.
Also, Lee, is there any benefit to getting into this case? I know it's a separate matter, but it is related. Getting into this case and each of us having an opportunity to talk to those lawyers and get a sense of whether or not rescinding this is the best move instead of preemptively doing it. Is there a possibility that us each individually getting to talk to those attorneys before making this decision might prepare us to make a better decision on rescinding this?
Well, it's my understanding that some of you have already spoken to at least one of the lawyers.
But as a municipality that has signed on to the case and joined the case, now having that kind of a relationship with that firm.
So I don't know that when I spoke to her, I actually posed the question, she wouldn't answer it for me. She goes, you need to make that call, basically.
Is it possible that that could give this board more information to make a better decision with whether or not to rescind this?
Obviously, anything's possible. My understanding is we're not going to have when we hire lawyers here at the city, outside lawyers, we have like the attorney-client sessions and so forth. We have a direct individual relationship. We're going to be in a group of municipalities and counties, and it's not going to be the same relationship. How she described to me, we're not even going to have much decision rights in the case. That the law firm, how it was described to me, is going to be making the majority of the decisions. They will be communicating with the cities, but it would be a little disorganized to have, let's say, 10 join or 20. I mean, you can't have 20 boards appear at an attorney-client session and be all who makes the decision to do what. So it didn't seem like we would have a direct relationship with the law firm.
But right now, we don't know, and it is possible that could inform us to make a better decision here. Is it also...
To rescind or join the lawsuit? It seems like we're talking about two separate things.
No, we're talking about rescinding.
Is it also possible that joining that case might provide us some amount of shield with regard to lawsuits coming in? It would make sense to me that if you are somebody who is looking to sue the city, looking at that case transpiring, it may make more sense to wait and see what happens from all parties, except for, unless you got an axe to grind, which I'm sure there's some of that.
We could always raise a defense in a lawsuit saying, hey, we are filing a lawsuit claiming it's unconstitutional.
Correct.
In litigation.
But I want to give you, I don't know, let's say let's say the state, I'm just going to give you a crazy example of, in my mind, let's say the state lowered the DUI limits, and I get pulled over for a DUI, and, well, Judge, I shouldn't have this case. I'm challenging the constitutionality of this law over here. I mean, the law of the land is still what it is, and right now the law says that we need to rescind, especially if someone is requesting us to. And for me to say over here that we haven't filed a lawsuit yet, and they could probably file a lawsuit against us before this lawsuit with the other municipalities gets initiated. But but it's a defense you can raise, but I'm not sure, like a trial court judge would have the ability to just stay it. It's the only thing I can say comparatively, if we lose at a trial court and we're appealing that case, you can stay the judgment part of it. You might owe interest later, but you can stay the judgment part of it while it's pending on appeal.
Right.
But this is different. Someone's going to sue us because of violation of a current law, and we're going to say, well, we're challenging it over here with this other lawsuit. I think that case is going to go forward, and they're going to pursue prosecuting us for violating the state law. And when I say prosecuting, I meant civilly for attorney's fees and costs. If we do challenge it unconstitutional, that's something that could be raised later. I mean, if we got a judgment against us for the attorney's fees, we can just appeal it, and hopefully by that time, the other case has gone through the channels. But the Senate Bill 180 challenge, it has to go to a trial court judge somewhere. They're going to have to pick a venue, I assume in Tallahassee, maybe somewhere else. Maybe the law firm says that would be more beneficial to be in this court. I mean, people make that decision all the time. This Court of Appeals would be a better venue to go first, because Tallahassee is a different Court of Appeals than for us. So I didn't even dive into those types of questions with the law firm, but they're going to have to go to a trial court. And then it'll probably take a few months to get a trial court ruling, and then that's going to be appealed. Nobody's going to accept that. And it's going to go, for us, it's the 4th District Court of Appeal in West Palm Beach. But if it's in Tallahassee, it would be in Tallahassee with the 1st District. It would ultimately go to the Supreme Court, in my mind. And it would be expedited, but it would still take several months to go through that process.
I would agree with you and will agree with you when it is seen in court and it is shown to be constitutional, but as it stands right now, I see it as very much not being constitutional, and its unconstitutionality is being challenged by many different municipalities.
I'm not giving you an opinion on the constitutionality of Senate Bill 180. I'm just giving you an opinion on the current state of affairs. We're going to get sued under Senate Bill 180.
The issues as the challenge by the municipalities is really an agenda item for next meeting.
Right. Separate item.
But to that point, if we do rescind this, we may not get another chance by the time this all finishes up to be able to reinstitute it.
After the 2 years,
Assuming this takes, with appeals, more than a year, which it very well could, you may not have a board that wants to reinstitute those changes, which is exactly what we were elected to do.
I have the
Commissioner
mayor.
Reed?
Oh, you had your light on. Go ahead. Sorry. You go
Sorry.
first.
Yeah, so.
They're flipped.
Oh. Oh, I see. It's going to be probably.
No, I figured it out.
Go ahead.
So basically, I understand at least, so we have to rescind it, but it doesn't stop us from the lawsuit. It's-
Correct. And in fact, I think it makes it,
stronger.
if I was at Weisserode, I think you're going to have a bunch of cities and counties join, but some counties and cities are going to have better facts that you're going to focus on. And let's say the city of Sebastian, and I don't know if they did anything, let's say if they joined, but they never had a zoning in progress. But we want to do one. They haven't had anything impacted them, but we have.
Guess
With
what?
a
That
stronger
would be
fact.
kind of a question
Yeah.
for the lawyer who's.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at too, because like if we have 14 days, so we could do this at the next meeting still and table this agenda item and have discussion with you and your office individually with
Right.
this law firm.
Yeah, to avoid the exposure, 14 days
Correct.
starts today. So
That's-
we have another
that's-
meeting within 14 days. So.
Correct, so that's another avenue, I guess, to get more information, to table it to a date certain of August 25th.
What was the date you received that first email?
Today.
Well, I got 2 emails today, but one was forwarding a prior email that allegedly was sent to me, but I never got it. And it was on the 31st of July, and
I was told it was stamped, though. They have a record of delivery.
it looked like it went to the wrong email address. but then he forwarded it to me this time, and it
The
looked,
clock is ticking as of today.
Well, the state statute says that we have 14 days to respond and then another 14 days to amend.
there's two 14-day triggers.
Which we responded to the one 14-day trigger, right?
You have to, you get a notice from
respond to anything.
someone demanding that we repeal. You have 14 days to respond to that by telling them, we have the intent to withdraw whatever the issue is. And then, once, you have 14 days to respond to them, but we already had, this is second reading, so we've already done an intent to repeal it. That's what we're here on the second reading now. So it's my position that since I got the emails today, then it would be 14 days from today
To rescind it.
to rescind it.
So we could do it at the next.
And then if we don't, they can sue in court and get their attorney's fees and costs assessed against
I
it.
guess, like-
Because you're not suing for damages.
Yeah.
You're suing like an injunction. Yeah, all they're going to do is get a judge declare they violated the law. That's all they're seeking, and then attorney's fees and costs.
Because you can't really do anything that's more restrictive in your land development code, according to Senate Bill 1.
You can't do anything.
Correct. So like, I mean,
That's why it's
literally.
completely unconstitutional.
It could be anything that's restrictive. I mean, yeah, I mean, we could go
And
on and on and on if
All
we
of these
looked at
other
it. Yeah.
counties and municipalities have not rescinded.
Mm-hmm.
They've submitted their comp plan changes and let the state deny them. Everybody is moving forward, and to me, beating on that same drum, the more of us that are collectively doing that versus, rolling over, and I think we should all stick together and that there's power in numbers because we're on the right side. And this is completely unconstitutional and ridiculous, and it's going to be overturned.
Do you know how many municipalities have already joined Lee? I know we spoke about it last week.
There's not a,
None.
Yeah,
still, the suit is still,
they're not, she wouldn't identify it.
Well, none have joined because they're not going to accept it. So even if the city of Stuart voted to join tonight,
Uh-huh.
they wouldn't allow us to join until they are guaranteed 10 people joined. So even if city voted on it tonight to join, we wouldn't be joined until they told us 10 people had joined and it was a lawsuit. So as of right now, there is nobody that's officially joined and officially challenging it.
I think there's like 4 or 5 at least that have signaled interest in.
So where your consensus
That I'm
is and
aware
where
of.
you stand would be to wait for the next meeting, and then between now and then,
Speak to the attorneys.
I don't know,
I don't even know if you're going to have enough time in the next 2 weeks to really iron that out with them.
Yeah.
I would want to wait until we're able to do that before I was to rescind this. Right now, this is live. I don't want to kill it. I want this to stay. I want to submit our comp plan changes to the state, and I want to get into that case. I want to be able to talk to them and then get a sense of, hey, you're okay if you rescind it, don't worry, or listen, you should hold on to that. You guys are being rejected by the state. Your comp plan, just like Manatee County did, and that's the position I'm in, is I want to wait to get into that case first before preemptively rescinding this on our own.
Mayor?
Commissioner Giobi.
Just to add to what Vice Mayor Collins said, the back end of that is if we rescinded, this law case takes 3-4 years. The composite of this commission could be different.
Yes.
And all of those changes that we work so hard to do, and never now getting into the comp plan changes, will be null and void. They'll be gone. And in the meantime, all of those changes that we did to restrict certain things will now go back to July of 2024. And there will be people who are going to say, well, this is the time to now put in for those projects and whatnot while they're under the old.
So for what it's worth, the day that the governor signed the bill, it went back to July of 2024
What I just said,
immediately.
yeah.
So
Right.
it's already been there, and we haven't had a single application.
Well, I think with it getting a lot of press now, people are beginning to realize. I mean, I think there's one point in the bill that says if a developer or a person feels it's burdensome, well, then you now have to prove what is burdensome.
No, that means anything.
Yeah, I mean, so
But-
that's an open, and I think people are starting to read it and starting to realize they can just take municipalities to court, or
Right.
they can go back and they can get things done that they weren't able to do
if we don't-
municipalities made changes.
If we don't stand up now, it's
Yeah.
going to be worse next round.
Well, what they're saying
This
is
is the
they
Alamo.
they can take municipalities to
Really
court that don't rescind it. As it relates to the city of Stuart, at least the developers that I've talked to, regardless of what bills you guys or ordinances you guys passed, if they want to do live local, they could still come in and build apartments at maximum density and maximum height. So it doesn't affect multifamily at all regardless, because they can do the live local, and there's no minimum size to live local. You can build a live local of 4 apartments and make 2 of the apartments $2,500 a month and qualify and move forward. So it doesn't really apply to that, and I think that that was the bigger overreach of the state statute between the two.
By the way,
all three.
and by the way, under Live Local, they don't come before us.
Yes, I know.
And if you're looking to sue the city, if this does get overturned, you're paying the legal fees. I think that's worth mentioning.
Who's paying the legal?
The people who sue will not, we will not be
They will
paying
not be
those
able to
legal
gather-
fees if this gets
If
overturned.
it gets reversed, but they won't pay our fees.
They're not going to pay our fees, but they're going to pay those legal fees that
Which
they've
will
had.
make them
So
think-
if you got an axe to grind and you're just trying to sue us over the zip effectively, you're going to be paying those legal fees when this gets overturned because it's not constitutional. So because I get that feeling of being on defense, and I don't like that. It's not just us paying legal fees. If this gets overturned,
But now,
As,
for what
they
it's
can pay
worth,
those legal fees.
in the event that the commission is voting not to overturn this ordinance, then tomorrow at the staff meeting, I will be asking Mr. Baggett to instruct the development department that they have to now apply code that's contrary to the current Florida law. Because you're instructing him right now that you want him to apply the zoning in progress adoption, not Senate Bill 180.
Correct.
You said we've had no applications.
I want you to throw those boxes of tea into the water.
And SB 180 is in direct conflict with the Florida Constitution itself.
Correct.
but we haven't had any applications, Mike, have we?
Well, every application we have, like Kai, the guy that's doing the pizza place, I don't know if there's any impacts, but it has to be re-reviewed under the old code. Seacoast Bank will have to go back in and be reviewed. I think it only applies to mixed use and to residential, but I don't know if there was any of the other setbacks or other nuanced stuff. So I don't think those apply, and I think they'll be able to be just quick jumps. But if there was anybody applied for a shed, or if anybody applied, I know that somebody sent in a request as it related to the use of a guest house or whatever they had, to use it as their own personal home office. So that will obviously be done. And if there's any shared parkings, those would be addressed. I don't think it's significant at this point. I know we haven't had any multifamily applications, but I don't know about the rest. I have to ask development. And regardless of, the real question is moving forward, it'll be, the city attorney will have to give an opinion tomorrow.
When did we finish our zoning in progress, Mike?
September 4th?
When we started.
No, that's when we
Oh,
started.
no, I'm sorry, it was March 4th.
So we finished it March 4th. Does that mean anything from March 4th until now would have had to meet the new land development code? as
That's what we have to go back and address.
So has,
So from March 4th until the governor signed
so
the
my
bill.
question is, Jody, has there been any applications that are just on hold?
No, from March 4th until the governor signed it, we went processing it with the zoning in progress in place.
Okay.
And then when the governor signed the bill, making it
July, is
void,
it
like
June?
whatever that was, June 30th, July 1st, July 2nd.
So between June and
Right.
now, there has been no applications
But-
processed because you
but-
don't know what
Right.
land development code that it falls under, Jody?
No,
No,
That's,
her instruction from me was to apply the zoning in progress when it was adopted. Then that was applied until the legislature passed Senate Bill 180. Then we were in a window for about 2 weeks waiting to see if the governor was going to veto it. At that time, we were dragging our feet. When it got vetoed, then we said, okay, now we know, or not vetoed,
It
signed.
got signed.
Then we said, okay, now we know that
follow
the
the
state has
old-
rescinded it, so then we treated state laws, any, August 24th of last fall of 2024 is when it was, what the Senate Bill 180 said. So whatever the law was on August 24th of 2024 is what has been applied since then.
Okay, and then Vice Mayor Collins is saying to make it applicable to the new?
Now, right, it's going back to the zoning in progress law, contrary to the state law.
That's what Manatee did, that's what all these other municipalities have done, is submitted their stuff and let the state deny it.
Which is,
The comp plan amendments.
those are comp plan changes, right?
No.
Hold on to your code, do not rescind your code, send in your comp plan amendments, and let the state tell you no.
I think there was one that sent it in and the state rejected it.
All of
That
them.
it was Orange
Orange
County.
County, Manatee,
That can happen.
that's my point.
Has anyone talked to Florida League of Cities? I know Mayor Rich, you talked to them quite a bit. What's their consensus on it?
They don't understand our concern about this one because our existing code,
Who did you speak to
Is it-
specifically?
our existing code, I've talked to a number of
I
other.
understand, I was just.
Our
gonna-
existing code is still in place. As Mr. Mortel indicated, what you're going to end up doing is pushing everybody over to live local.
Is there anyone I should speak to in
Because-
particular?
Why? If they want to develop, they'll just go to live local, because then it never comes before us. That's purely administrative, and we lose all control.
No.
Like,
No?
with the
Have
live
you seen the
local? No.
Have you seen the proposed development in Fort Pierce? What,
I haven't
that's
expressed my stuff on it.
under, that's under live local.
That's gonna happen either way. That has nothing to do with our zoning in progress. If somebody's gonna do that, they're gonna do that anyway. This is fear mongering over the zoning in progress. This
Well,
is
it's not fear mongering. If you're the city commissioner of Fort Pierce,
This is a crowbar.
Mayor Rich, is there anyone in I know you have a lot of communication with them. Is there anyone in particular that I should speak to at Florida League of Cities? Because I can't speak to you outside of board meetings.
I actually went to a conference in Orlando, which
When was
was
this?
the Florida County and City Manager.
When was this?
Last month, whatever it
How
was.
was that?
And went to 3 different panel discussions on it. And the one discussion was scheduled for an hour, and 2.5 hours into it, they had to tell everybody to move on because there was so much animation going on. But I can tell you the consensus that was reached at that panel was absolutely none. Everybody felt like it was an overreach and
That was
that
Florida League of Cities?
this was the FCMA, or whatever, the Florida City and County Managers Association. And there was a lot of Florida League of Cities people there, a lot of city managers there, a lot of county administrators there. And lots of people were frustrated by it, but the Florida League of Cities has not filed a challenge of it, and the Florida League of Counties has not, or what do they call it, has not filed a challenge
Who would I reach out to then for Florida League of Cities, Mike, from a local level then?
to do.
Just to get the consensus.
I mean, you can
because
look
Mayor
on the-
Rich says that they're totally against it, and I'm
They
trying
are.
to get.
You can call their, you can look on their website and call everybody on their board. I
See
mean,
no
they're-
problem, so
you can
I'd
call
like
all
to know
their
myself.
staff.
Patricia?
You can call the staff members. No, that's the Treasure Coast League of Cities.
Florida League.
The Florida League of Cities is on their
I'll
website.
provide a name to the clerk, and she can provide it to you.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor Rich.
You can go on and look at different meetings.
But as Mr. Martell says, they have not, and this is what they do, but they have not chosen to join a lawsuit in opposition to this.
I don't know if they're going to or not, I don't know. So if you go on their website, they have a legislative resources page, and then they have issue-specific resources, and they have Casey Cook, Chief of Legislative Affairs, Charles Chapman, Legislative Consultant, David Cruz, Legislative Counsel, Rebecca O'Hare, Deputy General Counsel, Matt Singer, Legislative Advocate, Sam Wagner, Legislative Advocate. So, and I'll forward that website to you right now.
But everybody's going to be in Orlando in the next couple of days.
Right, at the League of Cities meeting.
The annual meeting.
But that's who I would suggest reaching out to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. Not to harp on you, Mayor Rich, but when you say something, I'm just curious, because like, if you ask me who I speak to, I'll gladly give you the first name, last name, cell number, email, whatever you want. I believe in transparency. And if you ever have a question for me, by the way, Mayor Rich, I'll be glad to answer it.
on the dais, because that's the only time you and I can communicate. Other than that, I have everyone blocked up here on my personal cell number, so they can't even call or text me. That includes the city manager too, no offense, Mike, but it's just easier, because I don't have to worry about public records. It's easier to have a phone call, but yes, I believe in that, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, are we done with questions to Mr. Mortel and Mr. Baggett? If so, is there,
Mr.
Commissioner
Mayor,
Clerk?
okay, so, I definitely don't want erosion of home rule, like I said before. I think the three things that we got out of the ZIP, the parking requirements in some land use areas, and the .5 unit, and then the East Stuart Code. And the East Stuart Code was the biggest area that was changed. And we had probably one of the most involved public hearing, even though I didn't think that we had followed, even though we had public input, that we had followed a very thorough procedure to make the type of changes that we were asking for in the ZIP process. But at that meeting, people had lots of questions and lots of input, and the last thing they asked before we finally adopted the ZIP was remove East Stuart and give them a chance to have more planning meetings and more opportunities to talk about that area and to look at the land uses in that area other than what was being suggested during the ZIP process. And so that is my biggest thing with this process, is that I really think that people were a little bit shafted in that whole process, in that the biggest thing that came out of the ZIP process was the, restrictions, creating additional restrictions for commercial uses and particular locations in the East Stuart area for developing additional housing in the future. I know you can look and see all the discussions that went on, but I think people still wanted to have additional discussion. That's why whenever it has come up with regard to the I guess the whole idea of home rule restriction and the state preempting us, it has been a very consternation for me, because I want to make sure that the state doesn't use every opportunity to erase our ability to have home rule. But at the same time, that thing was added into this change during the ZIP process. And when we get this back from the state that says that anything that has happened in the rules after these hurricanes, and it was all included, just like Commissioner Giobi mentioned the sections, I really have misgivings, and I think that the best thing to do would be for us to adopt at this time ordinance number 2543, 2025, and we can always work on some other things further down the line. I think we're setting ourselves up for additional lawsuits, and I know that you've mentioned about having 14 days. That's cutting it very close, and people are ready. People were ready when we were there at the last meeting, I think on the 20th of one of those months, March or April, and we had a day at the 10th Street Rec Center, and people were ready, and they had their arguments. Now, I don't know if their arguments are going to hold up if these 10 cities do join in and they put forth arguments, but those folks were ready as to why they thought that what the city was doing, the process that the city was following at the time, and that's my thing, is that the process that we followed and the way that we responded to the citizens, I didn't think that it was a fair chance. So that's why I have this crossroads here, and it's kind of like split in ears. But I do think that we should rescind, and we should do it tonight. I hear that there's talk about trying to table this particular item number 13 until the next meeting, and I'll ask Mr. Baggett again before I make my motion official about ordinance 2543, 2025. If we put it off and have it be considered at the August 25th meeting, are we running out of time at that time?
No, as I mentioned to you, technically, I think that the meter starts running 14 days from today, so the next meeting is within 14 days. So we just have to take action to rescind within 14 days. There is a question of when I initially got the email, one of the objectors sent me an email, well, he sent an email on July 31st. It appeared that it went to the wrong email address. And then he forwarded that email to me today and said I never responded to his other email, but it looked like it was a different email address than I got today. So it looked like an incorrect email address. But even, I would have to respond to him within 14 days, and then another 14 days triggers. So I responded today, and I indicated that we have it on the agenda tonight for rescission, and so that would check the box for the first 14 days. Now, a new 14 days starts that we have to actually rescind within, and it's my opinion that starts today, and so next meeting would fall within that 14-day.
But what if we fail to rescind it? Isn't that
Then,
effectively saying?
We'll find out.
yeah, they have the option of suing us, and then we'll be entitled to attorney's fees and
But
costs.
that'll be the issue for next week's meeting, because then we'll ask, I don't know if those attorneys would defend us or how that would work.
And we can have several people just filing because they're going to get those attorney's fees either way.
Not either way. If that case doesn't work out, they're not getting those fees paid by us.
The only thing that they would get is an automatic injunction
Yeah, okay.
Mayor,
until it was resolved.
It's a lot more clarification. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Can I ask you one question, Eula? Did you go through a 7-month process of meetings with public comment when it came to redefining what a unit was and instituting half units in 2020?
No.
Because as a
had
member of the
couple
public,
here.
I had no idea that was going on.
We had a-
This commission went through 7 months of meetings with public comment, with everybody coming in, even going into East Stewart specifically to try to bring
I hear you.
understanding. You've consistently knocked at the process that we went through in the ZIP, and using that as a reason for why you would support rescinding it. But in 2020, the commission didn't come even close to providing the level of community engagement for the changes that it made, and even redefining what units were.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I'd ask you not to criticize your fellow commissioner. You may express your concerns
I
about
am,
previous
I don't need you to I don't need you to interrupt me. I'm speaking specifically to something that happened in the same way that there might be criticism of how we did that process.
General terms regarding that.
I'm criticizing how that process went.
Okay, I hear you. And at that time, the consensus and my feeling was that half unit was given the allowance to
But the
get
process.
some, to get
process is what I'm speaking to.
some affordable housing in.
But the process of community engagement and the number of meetings and the public, which
And
is
there were
been
no
your criticism.
objections at the time, and it was on the agenda.
But we didn't
Yeah.
go through that same process that this
It
commission
wasn't
even
a
did with
comp
the
plan
ZIP.
change.
It was a comp plan.
I mean, it wasn't a zip, a major change for the entire,
The
for
city
the entire.
did have public hearings on
Yeah, we
the
did.
comp plan amendments.
We did.
But
and
nothing like we've gone
We
through.
had the
With the
public
standard
workshops, and
hearing.
people did, but like, things that they wanted changed on bulletin boards and had, like, workshops and the whole thing, because it
We
was
did
an
that.
ear amendment review for the comp plan.
But the half
When the
units.
half units were adopted in the ordinance, it was not anywhere near as lengthy
Correct.
as the
Right, I hear you.
zoning in progress.
So I just For the record, I just don't appreciate that criticism of this process we went through, because I feel like we were very comprehensive, especially relative to past, which is why those half units needed to be corrected in our zoning in progress, because we were elected to fix those problems. The majority that's on this board was elected because of frustration around the way it was handled in the past.
Yeah, and I understand, I said I had no problem with the half-unit change back and the.
Residents do.
But.
Okay, that's not really relevant
Okay, all right,
to
that's
this.
okay. It's just a process, so
don't
I'm
even-
making a motion.
No, wait,
to-
I've
Oh,
already.
sorry.
I've already had my
Okay.
vote for a while, before you make your motion. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Clark, sorry. Based on what Commissioner Clark had just said, oh, my mic, sorry. Based on what Commissioner Clark had just said about revisiting the parts of the ZIP and all of that, that would be even more reason for us not to rescind, because we wouldn't be able to just bring everything back just on an ordinance, because we'd now be looking to revisit parts of the ZIP, which would reopen everything.
It could still be considered one burden.
Yes,
Right.
so I just wanted to make that statement, everybody understood. Thank you.
We don't have a motion.
Okay, I'm gonna make it a motion.
Okay.
Are we making a motion to table this to the 25th?
You can make a motion to do anything you like.
Okay, and if nothing happens today, Mr. Baggett, what is the process? The state law stays in place?
Yeah, I mean, the state law is the law.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the law.
currently, if nothing happens today, I would assume that it's being tabled to a next meeting, but
That's, I think the commission's direction to you was that the staff start applying our zoning in progress law.
Correct.
I got the vice mayor saying that. I don't have a consensus.
They're not rescinding it.
That's what you do.
They already passed it.
Well, then if they're not rescinding it, that doesn't tell us to take action. It's just saying they're not rescinding it. So I would like consensus from the board. If you're not going to rescind it, you're directing city staff to move forward with adopting your previous amendments.
Correct.
But they were already adopted.
It's already adopted.
Well, I'm sorry, implementing them.
Can we dispose of 13 first, please?
Yes.
So, we have.
I'm making a motion to approve ordinance number 2543-2025.
Okay. Is there a second? Seeing none, the motion fails. Mr. Guy, would you like to make a request of the commission?
I would like consensus from the board on directing city staff to implement the amendments from ordinance 2539-2025. As Mr. Mortel had indicated, we had since July, a couple weeks before July 1st, we stopped implementing it because of the pending Senate Bill 180, which had subsequently passed and was signed off by the governor. So currently, we were not implementing it, and we have not sent it to Municode.
We stopped implementing it because we were taking action to rescind it based upon the governor signing the bill. The commission voted not to rescind it. They're not, this was second reading. It didn't, this hearing is over. So it didn't rescind.
That basically is the direction.
so they're in
The
the-
building department would follow
The
the
zoning in
current.
progress changes,
Right.
including beginning to prepare the
in
comp plan.
zip
and
progress.
send to the state.
I'm hearing,
Okay, do you need a motion for that? Do you- okay.
I'm trying to get consensus that that's the direction.
I don't think you need consensus. I think it's our action.
I would like
speaks for itself.
consensus because I've got two commissioners telling us to do that. and I-
That's our,
Okay.
I think
Doesn't
it's our
matter.
charter.
District charter, yeah. That's what it is.
Doesn't matter.
But if you'd like to hear from a third.
Yeah.
You failed to rescind, the ordinance changes are in place. That's it. It's not a matter of opinion. It's what it is.
Public comment? You want to offer public comment even?
No,
though
there's
we-
no motion.
But even though we didn't,
No,
even though we're not in a motion, you don't want to offer public
no,
comment?
I do not. There's no provision for that. Why? We're not
You have
taking,
the discretion.
But it's the
to-
public, and
no.
they're here.
no.
I'd like to make a
It's
motion
their-
to allow public comment on
I
this,
second. Okay. All the-
On any subject at all?
on this particular agenda item 13.
Second.
Roll call?
Okay.
None?
We have a
At least give them the
motion
opportunity, though.
Yes.
by
We work for
Commissioner
them.
Reed and a second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any public comment on the ability of the public to provide public comment?
Seeing none.
Regardless, you know, it is funny.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
I do have a
I
public
think that's more
comment.
comical.
What?
I have a
You want my
public comment.
opinion?
Yeah, she has a public opinion.
You have public comment on
I
what?
do have a public comment on this item.
But the item failed.
Voting on public
We
comment.
have to,
Okay, so you want
Allowing
to
by
public-
roll call, and to
so
allow
we're going to
them
take
to.
public comment? Okay.
No, just take the.
Commissioner
public comment,
Clark?
According to
please.
Mayor Rich, we do.
Take the public comment.
One more time.
Just vote, you, Commissioner Clark, please.
There you go again.
Can we just have a roll call?
I don't think she heard
You
it.
could
They're
probably do it all in
doing a
favor.
call on that.
You've already called someone's
Okay,
name.
Commissioner Clark?
This is to allow public comment on.
Allow public
Please take
comment.
public
Yes.
comment, thank you, yes.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Giobi?
Yes, I think the
Commissioner
public
Reed?
should always have
It's
comments.
a shame that someone has to make a motion to allow public comment, but yes, absolutely, this is who we work for. Thank you.
Mayor Rich?
Sure, yes.
Unbelievable.
And do you, Madam Clerk, is
I
there
do
something?
have a public comment. It's
All
Robin
right.
Cartwright.
I don't understand that.
Ms. Cartwright gets a trifecta.
Crazy. Well, Mayor Rich is the chair, so.
Yeah. So just to clarify for everybody watching at home, Senate Bill 180 is going to nullify the independence of every municipality, and we are being bullied into repealing the zoning in progress. So thank you for your non-decision tonight. As a reminder, the proposed lawsuit to protect the municipalities is not guaranteed to be a class action lawsuit protecting every municipality. That's up to the judge, and a favorable ruling doesn't negate the Senate bill. More than likely, it will require the legislature to rewrite or amend the bill. And FYI, these developer-provided talking points of, quote, "it's now a law and we have to abide by the Florida Constitution," are misguided and incorrect. And some are blindly making these statements on behalf of people with a vested interest. What's enshrined in the Constitution, is eloquently stated by Commissioner Giobi in her initial comments, is the right to home rule. So some real-life examples for those at home as to how inane this bill is. Treasure Island has proposed a moratorium on impact fees. In Orange County, developers are suing to basically nullify a voter-approved restriction on growth. And in Manatee County, developers are saying that wetlands shouldn't be protected under the Senate bill, and according to them, wetlands being protected is quote-unquote burdensome. So here's what's burdensome to any resident of any municipality. Waiving impact fees causing the cost to be incurred by residents through probably a tax increase, nullifying a voter-approved referendum ignoring the will of the voters, and allowing wetlands to be filled in causing a literal cost to residents to pay for stormwater infrastructure and probably higher insurance rates because now the area might flood. By these standards, we should nullify the voter-approved amendment to support All Aboard Florida and negate the Brightline efforts because I need injunctive relief from something that is burdensome to me. But seriously, not only is money going to be forcibly removed from budget planning, there would also be the additional cost of infrastructure needed, fire rescue, stormwater management, and schools to support any projects approved by anybody claiming that they're using this bad bill to get approved. And for all of you who say that development pays for itself, you can obviously stop because the only thing development is paying for are the lobbyists, the development experts, and politicians who voted for this mess, and some other bad bills that are being forced upon us. This one, removing home rule, is especially egregious. I hope the city commission and staff and those at the county are figuring out how to better protect our communities. You need to take a stand, commissioners, because you only get one chance to get this right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Walter Lloyd?
Evening, Commissioners. Walter Lloyd, 150 Cabana Point Circle. I'm standing with Join the Fight, with anybody that's willing to join the fight in Florida. I think that we're representing the people that elected them. Others in the state are stating that they are going to join the fight. I understand that there may need to be a certain number before the actual initiative is taken. And I would ask us to please join that fight. The bottom line is that the local taxpayers are thrown into the bus by the state, allowing developers to have their way, and we know why that happens. Our quality of life is compromised and doesn't mean much to anybody when it comes to money in the pockets. Do what you were elected to do. And it just seems so easy to recognize that everybody from Tallahassee down to this board works for us. But it seems as though it's been reversed. It seems though they think they can make any decision they want, whenever they want, and trample on our quality of life without regard. So I'm asking you to please join the fight, and thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Breckbill?
Mark Breckbill, 406 Northeast Finney Drive, Stuart, Florida, 34996. I commend you guys. I think this is, I think this is a great way to approach this, and we need to rein them in. That it's gotten out of control, and the residents don't want it. So you're doing what the residents want. But my concern is just a practical one. Like right now, for example, I'm going to be trying to reopen that restaurant that was closed for a little over a year. So I've got to go in now and figure out whether or not that property is going to qualify. And if I get caught in the crossfire of this thing, I'm worried about the situation we had years ago.
They barred shared parking.
Do I?
The new law bars shared parking, so it won't qualify.
It won't qualify.
So I can't put the same restaurant back there that I had before?
I don't know if it's been closed 180 days. The answer is no.
No.
And there's no exceptions to that? The city
Well,
can't?
you can come through for conditional approval.
But I had a conditional approval that ran with the land. Anyway, so this is the thing I'm talking about. Here, I'm stuck in the crossfire here, and we may not know the answer to this for 6 years or 4 years or 3 years. I mean, years ago, we remember they built 3-story, townhouses or whatever it was in Jensen, thinking they had the right to do it, and, 4 years later, they got all torn down. I don't want to be that guy that puts the money in, and then it gets torn down. So that was my complaint, is that what happens to people like me and others like me who are trying to just make a living, and, we had a piece of property, we bought it with a certain use, we used it for that, a tenant's gone out, I need to get a new tenant in, and now I'm going to be told I can't do that?
You follow the
Yeah,
code,
that's
and you would do
Stuart.
a conditional use, and if it's not going to create a parking issue there, then it should be fine. And
Yeah, except that the conditional, that's expensive. I mean, I've done that, but I got out of that before because I got help from the city, frankly. They wouldn't help
Remember
anybody.
when you went door to door, Mark, how frustrated people are with parking and traffic, right?
I understand that, but you can understand that I have a debate. I just was saying, I'm concerned about that, and I don't want myself or anybody else to kind of get stuck in that. Is there any way to approach this from the standpoint of some kind of middle ground thing where we can make our case known, but at least be definitive in terms of allowing people to follow the existing code if it's there? I just want to see if, it could.
You need to speak with Jody.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully, she'll be able to give you guidance that's at a reasonable way forward.
We have Aaron Hawkins.
Mr. Hawkins.
How you guys doing? It's
Could you state your name and address?
oh yeah,
please, Mr.
sorry, Aaron Hawkins, 1616 Southeast Arapahoe Ave, Stuart. I just wanted to make a quick comment just to give a little bit of context. I follow a lot of the state legislative session and the bills that they've passed. It's funny how interests align. I have been speaking out against the overreach on home rule for at least 3 years now. I'm just glad to see that you guys found something that you wanted to stand against when it comes to that. But, in 2023 alone, there was over 60 bills in the state legislature that affected home rule in some way. Live Local, I actually agree with Mr. Martell. Live Local was a much broader overreach, in my opinion, than the current bill, although this bill is also overreach. And yeah, I just wanted to come up and say, and put that out there, over the last 5 years, there's been almost 200 different bills that affect home rule. So, this isn't just a new thing that has come back into the limelight. It's been a reoccurring situation with our Florida state government. And I hope that if you guys end up winning this battle, that you pursue some more efforts. Because, whether it's the defending your zip, or defending local labor laws, or defending local environmental regulations that some other places might have wanted to use for their city or their county, what they thought was right for their community. There's a lot more to talk about in terms of fighting this issue on home rule. And I've never been a fan of the zip. You already know that. I think that there were changes that did need to be made, but it could have been made without doing the zoning in progress. But we're kind of past that. So, but yeah, just wanted to put that out there, give a little extra context.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yep.
Thank you for your kind words, Aaron.
I have no further public comment.
Seeing no other items for our consideration, this meeting is adjourned.
Early. I thought it was going to go till like 9 or 10.